And we are live. Hello, welcome to Simon NoChaNoMa. It's a bit early. But this is Bob, by the way. This is Bob over in California, we're hello, Chuck, and hello, Chuck's mum. Mrs. S.
Mum from California,
and the cats. 3 cats possibly watching or asleep. Also,
I'm a cat person. At one time, I had 12.
Blimey. There you go. 12 cats.
Great. Well, the plan. I started out with 1 cat. We got that cat, and when we got that cat, we wanted to get a companion. So we went to a shelter and picked out a companion cat. And then somehow it seemed like there was like this invisible sign on the back of my house that says, "We take in any stray cat that comes along and feed them and love them." And
oh dear.
That's how we ended up with the rest of them.
Well, don't do that. Trying to imagine this. We will feed and love your cats. And sign outside Chuck's house. Suddenly gets. Oh, this is Dibble. If you can see in the comments, Dibble is here.
I see.
He's been on the show. He's from somewhere outside London. Not quite London, but somewhere outside.
And Chuck the Magpie, where are you from?
Chuck the Magpie is my singer friend, and she's from Tokyo, and is in Tokyo at this very moment.
Ah, very cool.
And possibly sipping wine also.
Well, I would be sipping sake, and I could go get my. But I think at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's just a little.
It would be, halfway through the show, you'd be sliding off the chair.
In my live stream last night, I was drinking sake, and I think I've had enough.
Well, I mean, I was watching the replay, and I noticed from the moment you started the first glass until the end, it's sort of like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm the guy that when you have too much to drink, he gets on the table and puts the lampshade on, dances to the left.
Not that much is here from Frankfurt. Not that much. Des.
Oh, Frankfurt, wonderful. I have a friend in Frankfurt.
Excuse me, I'm just going to have some cheddar. I got some English cheddar, strong English cheddar.
Oh, I love cheddar cheese. Yes, sharp cheddars are my favorite.
So, I mean, I suppose I'd better sort of introduce. Well, today on Simon's Living Room, the late time is due to the fact that it's quite early in the morning over in California where Bob is. And Bob, I encountered not in a UFO, but on for those of you in the audience who know, Only in Japan Go, John Daub, who sometimes appears on NHK programs. He's a very popular YouTuber in Japan, American chap, and Bob is one of the moderators on his channel. And so every time I went to watch Only in Japan Go, I kept seeing UFO Bob, and some of you may know Nosh Abroad, who's been on the show before and sometimes appears in the audience. Hopefully he'll pop in today. But Nosh and Bob would exchange. I thought, oh, they must know each other. And they did. And so Nosh said, oh, you must get Bob on the show. And I have. So this is not Nosh. No, this is UFO Bob. And he is a YouTuber. And he's been a YouTuber longer than me and longer than a lot of people. Possibly even Radri, if Radri turns up. So yes, let's get to the first question, Bob.
All right.
The first question is, how long have you been a YouTuber?
Well, I actually first connected to YouTube in 2006, but I didn't actively become a content creator until about 2011. So that puts me about 11 years, I would say, as a content creator, and actually on YouTube for about 15.
Wow.
I recognize the value of YouTube the moment I saw it. I knew it would be what it is today, roughly. I didn't have the wherewithal to think about investing in the stock. Otherwise, I'd be a much different man today.
Yes, and I would never been able to get you on the show.
No, I'd still be the same wacky guy I am today.
So, I mean, what? This is not a question that I've written down, but what triggered you to move from being just an observer, a user of YouTube, to a content creator?
A number of things. I was a filmmaker since I was a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I had worked in the film business in the 80s, but I didn't like it.
Mm.
But I still wanted to create. And it dawned on me, oh, you know what? There's an audience out there. I can create my own products or my own films, for the lack of a better term, on my terms. And then I can still have that fun. And I have to admit, there were some content creators I watched, like Guitar Man, Freddie Wong, Wheezy Waiter.
Wheezy Waiter, I've heard of him. Yes.
Yes. Well, I've actually met all three of them. Well, I'll take that back. I haven't personally met Freddie Wong, though I've been in his presence.
All right.
No, he had a meetup at a restaurant, and I went there and I did a whole UFO Bob show around that, and it's called Freddie Wong, waiter
or alien. Oh, and just to say hello to Peppo from up the road in Holland. He's joining.
Hey, Peppo, good to see you.
So yes, these are names from the past. Who some of them are probably no longer active. Some of them.
Yeah, well, I know that Freddie Wong and Mr. Guitar Man, and his real name is Joe Pena. They've all moved on to working in the industry. Joe Pena was hired by oh gosh, who's the guy that played Opie in give me a second here. I'm having a brain freeze.
Oh.
No, I can't think of that.
Okay.
Okay, we'll start all over here.
Oh no! I've got a question from the audience. Question from the audience here.
There's a filmmaker. He was a child actor on TV. Then his first big hit was with George Lucas in American Graffiti, redhead kid. And I can't think of his name right now.
Oh, the Happy Days chappie. No,
yes.
No, not him. Yes, Ron something. Ron thingy.
Howard, there you go.
Ron Howard. That's him.
Anyway,
Yes.
Ron Howard's company hired the Mystery Guitar Man to do a feature film, and I don't remember. It's called Arctic, I think, about a man who is stranded in the Arctic in a plane crash and has to survive. So he did a feature film, and I know that Freddie Wong had a program called Video Game High School, VGHS. He started on his channel, but became a series on Netflix, I think.
All right. Oh, well, that's the aspiration of many a YouTuber is to go mainstream. We'll get into that later, but I'd just like to say hello to Alas, who has joined.
Speed Gimp helped us out with Ron's name. Thank you. It's great to have him.
Yeah, Speed Gimp is a blast from the past as well. All the way down in Florida, a regular visitor on my previous show, and I shall indeed keep it clean, Speed Gimp. Don't worry.
What part of Florida?
The swampy bit.
Well, I was down there in 2011. That's why I asked. I was down near Tampa, Santa Maria Island, I think it was. It was nice down there. It was in November, so it was perfect weather.
Now, just to go back to a question that is also one of my questions, or related to, Me Dibble is asking, so Bob, what's your YouTube channel about? Which ties in nicely with how did UFO Bob come to be?
Okay. Well, the channel was really a fluke. I'm a photographer, videographer by trade. I purchased a green screen and I was testing out how to actually do green screen properly. In other words, how to light it and then how to, get the background onto the green screen in post-production. So I had set it up and I was just sitting here rambling like this. And then I started talking like this. And I said, hi there, folks. It's UFO Bob. And I've got one question for you. You like aliens? You do. This is the channel for you. And
Oh,
that's
this
how
is
it started.
Speed Gimp. Dean likes aliens.
Yeah. Well, the whole again, the whole channel was meant to be tongue in cheek. I wasn't confident enough to be me, quote unquote,
Hmm.
on camera. But by being this character, I could be outlandish and off the wall and feel comfortable before the camera.
That resonates with me very much, and Speed Gimp will know this. And if you ever saw my old show, you would know that on that I was all three of us were the three old dudes were characters, although tended to carry over sometimes into real life.
Well, yeah,
But I mean, yeah,
can't escape being you
Hmm.
even when you're playing a character. And basically, when you look at the old one, I'm basically the same person. I'm just a little more over the top for those. Now I don't have to be over the top, but I can be when it's appropriate. At least I
yes,
like to think
yes. I mean,
right.
that was my after 5 years of being over the top, I kind of
And so
throttled back. Yeah.
that's what led me into being a YouTuber.
Hmm.
And then the show evolved over time because it started out um, uh, as I wanted to do, like I said, little movies. And another YouTube group that was an inspiration was Corridor Digital, and they all Freddie Wong, Corridor Digital, and uh, I had brain freezes today. Too much sake last night. Um, anyways, they all worked together. And so I started doing my own stuff. But the problem was it was taking me 2 and 3 weeks to produce one show because I was writing it, I was lighting it, I was doing the special effects, I was learning how to do the special effects. It just and the return for the effort wasn't there, and I had a business to run.
I
So
see. Yeah, yeah. So that was your YouTube was like eating up your time,
it was
kind of. Yeah.
the profits, to be honest. So I kept simplifying, and I kept looking for ways to do it, and it slowly evolved to where I was doing cooking videos.
Mm.
And I enjoy doing the cooking videos, but I want to do more than that. I want to do. I like live streaming for one thing. I like connecting directly with an audience, and I want to do more live streaming. I've done it for about a year or two now, and I'm getting comfortable with it. I'm starting to see how to make it of value to the audience. And I want to do some more traveling. So that's kind of where the channel's going now.
So you're speaking here like outdoor live streams, sort of rather than the sort of like.
Well,
sitting.
I'm going to do both. I want to do edited content and I want to do live streams. They're two different animals, and each one has its own audience. There's crossover, of course, but each has something to offer that's different. So
that's true.
Really, I don't know how it's all going to play out yet because I'm just now starting to make that transition. That's the plan for now.
So you say you got into making films before YouTube. That was your sort of passion. What got you into filmmaking, and when did that start? I should better call up the first image here. I shall go to here. There we go.
Oh yeah, okay. That's a frame, a clip from an 8mm film that I produced in 1963. So that's when I first made that. The hands are mine from the top of the screen there. The gentleman in the grave is my friend. His name oddly enough, is Bob. Bobs are everywhere. Bob actually was the one who inspired me to make movies. His dad had made a 16mm film when he was a child in the 30s, and so we started making films together. And we both grew up on horror movies, science fiction movies, and particularly a magazine called Famous Monsters of Filmland, which was edited by Forrest J. Ackerman. We read those voraciously, and that's how we learned how to be filmmakers. And all of our early movies were copies of films we grew up on: Frankenstein, Dracula, The Wolfman. Then later the spaghetti westerns, and then later as the Beatles came out, we were doing pop filmmaking, so to speak.
All right,
that sort of thing. So that's how I got started. So I started first in 8mm film, Super 8, then 16, and I did a little bit of 35, and then transitioned into video, and here we are
in live streaming in
the year 2021.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the background there, you have a shoji screen, and my show has a sort of theme to it, a Japan theme, and I have lots of friends over there. But how and when did you develop an interest in Japan?
Well, that interest began early on when I was a kid. At first, it started with movies like the original Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and so on. Then later, there was a period in the 1950s when America was making films about Japan in Japan. Things like Sayonara, The Geisha and the Barbarian, and excuse me, Tea House of the August Moon, Cry for Happy. Well, those films gave me my first look at what Japan was. At least from an American perspective. It's slightly skewed, but it was fairly accurate for the time. Then when I was in film school, I was introduced to Kurosawa and other Japanese filmmakers, and that's where it kind of.
So you progressed. I'll just digress a bit. You progressed from not just making like movies with 8mm cameras on your own and for your own pleasure, but you then actually went on to study it. So all right.
I went to junior college first, and then later I went to Cal State Long Beach University, CSULB, as we say, CSLUB.
And so presumably then, I mean, with watching these Japanese kaiju films, as they call it, like the Godzilla and the sort of the science fiction element. So there was an interest in science fiction and horror,
yes,
and the Japanese connection as well. So that is, I've just explained it. I've just explained myself the connection. I was going to ask you.
Well, yeah, it's all interwoven. When I look back at it, I go, it's interesting. The paths. It's like all these little tendrils that came together to be where I am now.
And this in itself, this led you to, I mean, the whole filmmaking thing. You did produce at one point your own film, or were, and I understand that you were then trying to get it promoted, and that led you down another path, also Japan related.
Yes, and again, so here's what happened. I in the late 70s, around 78 to 1980, I produced a short subject comedy called Superb Man, the Other Movie. And it featured the original Superman from the 1940 serials, Kirk Allen, and it had a host of other minor celebrities in that film. When it was completed, I called up Forrest J. Yackman, who I, over time, had become an acquaintance of, and asked him, well, do you know anybody in Japan who could help me get distribution over there? And Forey takes the phone and he hands it to this Japanese man who just walked in to visit him. That person's name is Saki Hijiri. Saki, at the time, was the editor of Uchusen magazine, a Japanese equivalent of Famous Monsters magazine. And
okay, I'll just go to my just the audience know what Uchusen is. This is Uchusen.
Yes,
it's Uchusen magazine. This is an 80s. Yeah,
the red title is Uchusen, which means space. And this is the autumn issue, 1982, which is when I first traveled to Japan. But I'll get to that in a minute. But the fun thing was that Forey gives the phone to Saki and goes, "Here, it's for you." And Saki goes, "He just arrived in America. He didn't have any friends." He goes, "Who knows I'm here?" and that became my first. Saki became my first friend in Japan. I met him while he was here, and I spent about 3 weeks shuttling him and his crew around, introducing them to all the people I knew in the motion picture and science fiction business. And I always remember the names: the Saki, Chucky, Saki, Taki, Chiaki, and June. Yeah, sounds like a comedy team.
Yeah.
At the start stage. but as a result of that meeting, I was invited by Saki to come to the second annual Tokyo Science Special Effects Convention in 1982, August of 1982. And that was a great adventure. I was there for 6 weeks. Now it was in August. And if you know anything about Japan, August is mushi yatsui. That's hot. And yes, that's the Suginami Hokkaido, which is where the convention was held. And it was an amazing adventure. The funny thing is, I had started studying Japanese in 1980 when I went back to finish to get my degree. And so I tried to speak Japanese, but it was not doing very good.
It's tricky. I can attest to that.
But
hello, Perk.
That's how I ended up in Japan, and again, just things kind of snowballed. I eventually, many years later, in the 90s, I met a Japanese woman. I was married to a Japanese woman for 17 years, and she worked in the film business. In fact, she worked for Taka Ichise. Taka Ichise is one of the largest, or not large, but he's one of the major producers and has been of horror and science fiction films in Japan. He did The Grudge, he did The Ring, he did Ju-on. You look up, you go to the IMDb and you look at his credits, and that's so. My wife was his assistant and translator interpreter.
I can't remember. Is it Ijiri or is it Takase? I can't remember which one this picture is. This is the convention. So this will be the editor of the magazine, presumably.
Right. Gentleman in the middle with the microphone. Go ahead. Go back first to.
All right, hang on. Go back. Hang on. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger. That comes later.
Yes. So the man in the middle is Saki Hijiri. I'm on his right.
I don't know if people can see my cursor moving up and down there.
You can see the T-shirt I'm wearing says Superman. So I was there promoting American science fiction films, movies like The Thing, E.T., Star Trek, whatever the hot summer movies from America that were in that vein. That's what I was. The studios had given me preview material, and I was there to promote it.
All right.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Now there is my sensei. Sensei Yamazaki. Yes, Kiyoshi Yamazaki. In the 80s, I started to study Iaido, which is Japanese swordsmanship. Now, that's the art of using a real katana, where you actually slice.
So it's not like kendo. It's not
No. Kendo's a good sport, but this is being a samurai. You start out with katana that have dull edges. Eventually, when you become at a certain level of proficiency, you are allowed to handle a real katana, and you actually slice through material that basically is a substitute for a human body.
Yes, like melons and like stuff and sides of pork.
They had straw mats that were about the size of a neck, and they're soaked in water and then put on a post.
Hello. Call.
Right, all right.
Hello, Nick.
I'll sit here and answer everybody. In fact, let's take this question. Around 1980 is when Japan first came.
Okay, the door is unlocked. You can just the door is locked, but the key's not in, so you can come up.
Okay.
Okay, because I'm doing my show. Okay. Right. See ya. Wait. Okay. Sorry, that happens. Right, that was just my son. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
So yes, he was teaching you Iaido.
Yes.
Iaido.
So, and his studio is about 20 minutes from where I live in Anaheim, and his studio's still there. His daughter, Mina, is now I believe the senior instructor. But I believe Yamazaki still teaches from time to time. I haven't seen Sensei in at least 10 years. But anyway, he taught Arnold Schwarzenegger how to do Iaido for the movies Conan and for Red Sonja. And he also taught Sting knife work for Dune. And on several occasions, I had the opportunity to travel with Sensei to meet some of these people. So my favorite story is Sensei Arnold was working on Running Man, not far from here, about an hour's drive north in Ontario, California. And so Sensei calls me up and says, I want you to drive me up to see Arnold. We're going to go to his suite and visit for a couple of hours. So he took some Cuban cigars. I will ask how he got them. And some very fine whiskey and other libations. And we went to Arnold's suite, and for 2 hours we hung out with Arnold.
Cool.
Now, it was amazing. And now I have to be honest, I was somewhat starstruck, not even somewhat, a lot.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I basically kept my mouth shut. But at one point, Arnold turns to me and goes, "So, what do you do?" Well, I'm studying film, and I want to be a film director. So he says, "Keep at it, you'll make it."
What do you want to do? I want to be the governor of California.
So that's my Arnold story. I also got to travel to the UAE with Sensei, and I also went to Mexico for 2 weeks while they were shooting Dune, and was down at the set in Dune.
Oh, wow.
That was all great stuff. Sensei was he still is. He's a great guy. I deeply respect him and admire him. Unfortunately, I wasn't a very good student. By that, I mean that I didn't have the focus at the time that I needed to really be a good martial artist. It was karate or iaido. But, live and learn.
So that led you to, your first trip to Japan was actually for the convention.
Yes.
But you didn't just go to the convention and go back when it had finished, did you? How long did you actually stay in Japan for your first visit?
Okay, well, I've been there 5 or 6 times. I've been to Japan. First visit was 6 weeks, and
6 weeks.
6 weeks, and I was everywhere. I was in Osaka, Kyoto, Nara, Naiba. Got to go skiing in Naiba, Kamakura, Yokohama, Izu. Hakone. I know I'm leaving some places out. Chiba. I was able to go to in 1984. I went to Tokyo Disneyland a year after it opened. That was a lot of fun. Strange because it was Disneyland, but it wasn't Disneyland, because Disneyland again is it's down the street from me, it's 20 minutes away. And I've been to the original Disneyland probably 100 times in my life, starting in the early 1960s.
So it was like seeing it there, but then completely.
Well, it was, first of all, everything was on a grander scale. The streets were wider, the buildings were bigger, there was more space. And they didn't have a main street because they had a kind of enclosed European street.
Right, yes.
It didn't have that. There was no Main Street didn't have the same meaning to the Japanese people as it did to Americans of my generation. Turn of the century America's Main Street. But I had a great time. And I'd like to go back. Especially, I'd like to go see what's the one that has the Jules Verne, the volcano? I can't remember.
Journey
to the Center of the Earth, isn't it? No. It has to do with the Nautilus and all that stuff.
Yes. I'm trying to think of the Universal Studios Japan. That one? No.
No. There's another name for it. Let's not think about it. It'll pop up as we keep talking.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, that's it. And then after I got married, then I traveled to Japan to meet and visit with family from time to time. And that was in Tokyo, and also there was family in Izu. They were
the Izu Peninsula. Yeah,
that was a great place.
So the impression it made on you, it was very lasting, presumably. Then
very much.
yes.
Yeah. I desperately want to go back, and actually, I was planning to go back the year that the pandemic became such an issue, and so now here it is, almost 2 years later, and I'm still not in Japan. And the way things are going, I doubt I'll get back.
Well, we can always, yeah. I mean, I haven't been back since 2018, so I will be back, Chuck.
Yeah.
If you're still watching, I will be back, and I shall come and see you and your mum and if the cats.
My last visit was the year 2000.
That's that's a while ago. Yeah.
And it's changed a lot. I watch Only in Japan. That's John Dobbs, one of his 2 channels. Only in Japan, which is edited content, and Only in Japan Go, which is his live streaming.
Yeah, he's quite prolific, isn't he? He's he does that. He's I don't know. I mean, I can manage once a week.
This gives me my Japanese fix.
So when you were back in the USA, you then pursued a career. You did become you graduated from film college, presumably, and then what happened after that? What was your future path? What was your path then?
Well, by then I was already working as a professional photographer for several different companies, all of them in the automotive aftermarket industry. That would be classic cars and trucks, like Mitsubishi, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And when YouTube hit in 2006, I immediately recognized its potential to market products to YouTube. So at that time, I was working for a company called Classic Performance Products. And I said, hey, guys, this is the wave of the future. We need to start making videos. So we were the first in our industry to produce videos on YouTube in that business. And now that's what I do. I make videos, content for small businesses in the Orange County area, which is where I live.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Well, speaking of Orange County, the appropriate background material.
That looks like it's up in the Santa Monica Mountains.
I've just pilfered somebody's video. Yes, it's somebody's. Yes, it's up near you somewhere.
Well, anyways, that's pretty typical of the landscape of where I live. Well, not all of it, because actually I live in a flatter area, but pretty much hilly. So.
And speaking of hills, if people go to Bob's UFO Bob's channel, which is linked in the advert, and I should actually link it in the description of this show. I shall correct that and do that later. But if you go there, you will find quite a mixture, like Bob said, cooking videos, live streams, classic cars, but also hiking videos.
Yes.
And actually going in walking in scenery like this.
Yes. I just did it was a total 4-mile hike at the Crystal Cove State Park in California. We hiked in, spent the night, hiked back out. That's the one. That's I'd say my most recent video. No, it's 2 or 3 videos ago. It's called, would you eat this or something like this? So cooked on the trail.
Oh, the cooking trail video. Yes. Yes. I remember seeing that. Yes.
And I'm going to digress a minute because I see there people are in the chat. Thank you, Dibble, about what you said. Yes, I still respect Sensei tremendously. And maybe next year, Bob. Oh, yeah, you got a pirate in there.
I'll ask the pirates.
Oh, Dibble's looking at baked apples now. Yeah, that's my most recent cooking. That was done, I just posted it last weekend.
Yeah, so I'd have to warn Dibble. When Bob says 350 degrees, that's not centigrade when you put your apples.
No, you'll have really baked apples if you go Celsius. And I apologize. I'm getting used to the fact that I have an international audience, and so now when I tell people what the temperature is, or for cooking or for outside, I try to look up both Celsius as well as Fahrenheit and give that. So my apologies if there's any fried.
Yes. It's a disclaimer at the end. And with your something for everybody, I did actually notice. I'm digressing now because I watched your Bob has actually achieved 5,000 subscribers and did a live stream last night. Was it?
Yes,
So you had to celebrate that, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah,
I hit
5,000.
So I'm doing real quick. I hit 5,000 subscribers at the beginning of May, and then I did last night. I did a video live stream celebrating that fact and several other milestones. So if you get a chance, slide on over and watch that.
Yeah, yeah, and watch what happens when he has cake and sake.
In that video too, I will tell them, let them watch and have the fun. She already knows what's happened. I'm gonna tell you, you have to go and watch the video.
Oh, you've got a 5,000 and something subscriber. Dibble's just subscribed to you. There you go.
Well, thank you, Dibble. Awesome.
So this is what I was digressing about in the fact that you did mention in that live stream that you're hoping now to sort of coalesce, shall we say, sort of tighten up. You produce something for everybody. I mean, in the advert, there's a little sort of intro bit in the advert from one of your old intros saying that something for everybody, and that you've got live streams, cooking, hiking, and of those, which is your kind of favorite topic? Have you have a particular favorite, or are they all favorite? Because you've got to make a kind of choice if you're going to sort of tighten it up.
I would tell you that being on the road is my favorite. Travel, seeing new places. I want adventure. I want to see I want to meet new people, see new things, and share those with others. Now, I want food to be a part of that.
Yes, that's a good idea. Yeah.
That way, I'm keeping at least a theme.
Yeah.
What Simon is driving at is that part of the problem with my channel, even though it's been on for a long time, is that I was all over the map with my content. I was doing little skit videos, and then I was classic cars and trucks, and then cooking videos, and then travel videos. Well, to succeed, you need to be focused. You need to have a consistent voice, and I don't have my voice is not as consistent as it should be, or at least as I think it should be. So I'm trying to tighten up the show a bit and change it. If you watch my work, please go do that and leave me some comments. Give me your opinions of what you think I should be, what direction I should go in. I'm all about interaction with the audience. So if you got an opinion, share it with me.
Yes, I mean this is one of the things when we were talking about doing this show together, we discussed what we liked about YouTube and about live streaming, and it's basically talking with the audience and interacting with the audience and other YouTubers. It's a whole network. Oh, I've dropped the mic again. A whole networking thing.
Well, I'll talk while you fix your mic. Okay. That's a good point you make. This is the amazing thing about the YouTube is that I am now friends with people around the world. Now Simon is part of that team, that group of people I know. You're in Belgium, okay? I have friends in Belgium and different parts of Germany. I have friends in England. I have friends in Japan, and other places around the world. And then of course around the United States. And some of them I've actually met in person. We've like Nosh. I've met Nosh in person, even though he lives near San Francisco. We've met up, and some of those Japanese American YouTubers that I've met. It's a pretty amazing thing that there's this community that I feel close to people who are actually thousands of miles away.
Yes, it's. I mean, when I started, producing content, it was through watching a live stream, and then the other viewers in the live stream one or two of them were YouTubers, and others were just viewers, and they said, "Simon, make a video. Simon, make a video." So I went ahead and made a video, and then I decided
good. You have a really you have that interviewer's quality. I've been watching some of your stuff, and I really like the way you conduct yourself as an interviewer, both your demeanor and your voice, and the type of questions you ask. Before we go any further, I have to say, more cowbell, more cowbell.
Yeah, we need more cowbell. Oh,
I'm looking down here at Speed Camp. I couldn't get it. I had to say it. Oh, and People is a science fiction fan. Hey, alas.
You're from England, alas. I've seen you in Bob's Discord, and I thought, alas is from California, but you're from England. Oh, jolly good. There we go. Hello.
And for, anybody in Europe, it was like what, 3 a.m. when I was live streaming last night.
Blimey.
Yeah,
I was asleep.
Yeah, it's tough because I want to bounce it so everybody gets a shot at it. And she's saying, ask him about his shirt. I think Simon already knows the backstory on that.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know the backstory, go watch the live
stream. Yes.
I'm not going to give away the good. You have to watch. So, this is really fun. I love looking at the chat. Now, of course, I have to be polite because I have to stay on track with you. Otherwise, I'm going to, get off track and.
All right.
Go by.
I just noticed that Alas is watching from Stonehenge. Is it Wiltshire? No. So we're talking about YouTube and what it means to us and everything, and the fact that both of us have been on here for years and years, and that it's something I talk about with a lot of my guests, YouTube creators, that television is television sort of falling by the wayside, or is it something that some YouTubers aspire to sort of actually making it onto television, and some YouTubers just leave it to one side and get on with the sort of the internet world, the streaming world? What's your preference? Do you have a preference?
Well, first, let me say I haven't watched television since 2010. And I've never turned it back on. I don't have cable. I don't watch over-the-air broadcasting. Everything that I watch on YouTube.
I'm relieved. I'm relieved to hear that it's not just me.
Well, first of all, television and frankly, the motion picture industry in general is a wasteland. 90% of the material that's coming out of Hollywood is garbage, in my opinion. They don't know how to tell stories. Special effects has become the crutch. Instead of a tool to tell the story, it is the story. And I still have a lot of friends in the film business. No, I don't.
They must be sort of like looking at you streaming in YouTube and thinking.
My generation in the film business, but I mean, we're talking about people who've worked on some of the biggest films in the last 20 years, and they all feel it's just Hollywood is a cesspool and it produces garbage, and I'll just leave it at that. And I don't want to be a part of it, and that's why I like YouTube, because you know what? I can't change that. I can't change Hollywood. I can only produce what I can produce, and I'm going to produce stuff that I think is worthy of being viewed. I hope it's worthy. That's up to you guys. That's up to the audience.
Yes, I mean 5,000 people can't be wrong, kind of thing.
There's no accounting for taste. And my goal is I want to. It's taken 10 years to get to 5,000. Though I got I went from 2,000 to 5,000 in about a year and a half. So there was kind of an exponential growth there. Now I want to get to 10,000 within the next year. That's my goal. I don't know if I'll make it. I believe I will. But only time will tell. And then eventually 100,000. Who knows? Maybe 1 million.
Well, one of the ways one can do that is to sort of collaborate. Sometimes, if you collaborate with people who on YouTube who are perhaps bigger in terms of audience numbers, you can get kind of some kind of like promotion from that. I've noticed that you collaborated with some other YouTubers. Are there any more on the cards?
There is not. There's nothing on the horizon at this moment, and that's because of COVID again. That no one wants to get together. Okay, and there's you can't again all this stuff of wearing the mask and all the song and dance you have to go through to get to locations. It's just too much trouble. It's another reason why it's easier to do cooking videos right now. At my house, and I don't have to go anywhere. But I need to get out. I'm tired of being cooped up, which is another reason why I'm doing the hiking videos too.
Yes.
I like I was an avid sailor for about 25, 30 years, sailing to Catalina Island often. So, that's my thing. I like to be outside.
Yes,
I have to prove it.
You got what? You got the what? Like the rheumatism to prove
I like being outside, and I said I have the skin cancer to prove it.
Oh right, oh God.
I know that's a pretty strange leap, isn't it? But when you're my skin color, you end up with I'm under treatment.
Oh, that. All right. Yes.
Skin cancer. It's basal cell carcinoma. It's not deadly. And it looks horrible. But actually, I'm in like the second week of treatment, and in 3 more weeks, my skin will be back to normal.
Oh, cool. That's good.
Yes, I have to do it every now and then because back in my day, you didn't think about skin cancer and exposure to the sun.
No, it's like you went out there, no suntan oil and a cigarette. Just
That's right.
Perk is asking, what did you sail on? I would say the sea, probably.
We'll be here all week, folks. Enjoy the veal. Different boats, mostly Newport 30s, Newport 33s, a Tiana 55, a Creelock 36. I belonged at the time to the Newport Sailing Club. The way it worked is you paid a monthly fee, and a portion of that fee was administrative. The rest accrued into an account that you would use to rent boats. So depending on where you were going and your skill level, you would choose a handful. There's a wide assortment of vessels to sail on. And I love that. I've sailed around Catalina Island probably at least 50 times over my life. And the man that taught me sailing, he was a Scotsman.
Aye.
Yeah, he was. Actually, he was a baronet, in fact. Do you know who Nigel Bruce was?
Nigel Bruce, the actor.
Yes. Well, Nigel Bruce was Ian's uncle.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I see. Nigel Bruce, wasn't he sort of Basil Rathbone's sidekick in Sherlock Holmes?
Played Watson in
the old Sherlock Holmes movies. Oh, right. Oh, cool.
And Ian just passed away at the age of 96, just around February, I think it was.
Ah, well, that's a good run.
We were sailing together up until about 2 years ago. If you want to see what Ian looks like, I have a sailing video. Go look on there. It says sailing the Newport 30 or Newport Harbor. And it's alien oriented too.
Alien oriented, it has to be. That's the UFO Bob channel. Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's so many mainstream TV. Speed Gimp has it right.
Yeah, it's just a platform for people, really. Yeah.
I think this was.
Who's that?
The Adventures of Baron. I'm sorry, it's really tough because I want to keep the flow of the conversation going. I also want to be able to respond to all the posts, and there's so many interesting comments being posted. So, not that much. Just pop the cork. I've popped a few corks in my day. Right. Okay. But I digress. So, Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we're coming towards the end of of our time, unfortunately. But I do have, because in the advert, towards the end of the advert, there was a little bit of footage that I used that actually is evidence of something that Bob and I have in common. And that is that we both happen to go to film school or art. I went to art college and did film, and he went to film school and did film. But we also both indulged in art movies.
Yes.
Mine was intentional. So can you tell us a little bit about that, just to kind of round up?
Yeah, I've got a good story for you then. When I was in getting my BA degree in film and electronic arts, all the instructors were of the avant-garde, new wave filmmaking point of view. Now, I grew up wanting to be like John Ford. That's who I admired and emulated. And you'll see I wear this kind of a fedora type of hat or Indiana Jones style hat. Well, that was because of John Ford. And so if I wanted to get a good grade though, if I wanted to be at the top of my class, I had to, shall we say, adjust my thinking and make videos or films that would appeal to those teachers. So my graduate film was a film called Clock, and I deliberately made it to poke fun at my instructors. And if you look at it, I tell people now, this is Fellini meets Spielberg. Okay, and for those who don't know, Federico Fellini was an Italian filmmaker, and his 8.5 and films like that. They were stories, but they were a little
off the wall kind of. Yeah.
And so that's what this film is about, and that's on the channel as well. You can go see UFO Bob's Clock. And the thing is that when they saw it, because it was shot out in the desert, it was kind of like Indiana Jones, but there was all this weird stuff going on, and I just threw on as much weird stuff as I could, and it not one bit of it had a lick of meaning, but everybody look at it. Oh, it means this, and look at the metaphors, and this is reflexive of the oppression of the masses. And, oh, load of horse manure. None of it was intentional. It was all BS. As a result, they submitted it to the statewide CSU film competition, and I won that year statewide.
And he's not looked back since.
No. Here I am. I'm doing UFO Bob.
Yeah.
Avant-garde. That's what this is. This is performance art.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is, really. I mean, it's, yeah. And it's really good. But,
and I painted. I actually spent a summer living on the beach in a shack painting Salvador Dali-esque paintings.
This is what you do. This is what you do. Just to sort of get it out.
Yes, I'm a frustrated artist. And people who look at my art get frustrated too. What's wrong with that boy?
So coming up on UFO Bob's channel, we'll be
psychoanalyzing the madness of art students and their.
So when is your next video? When can we expect? Just to sort of like as we round up here, we'll so that people can go to your channel and see the latest. Is it something coming up soon?
I can tell you what's on the books. I won't tell you exactly when it's going to come out. I try to produce content once a week. And though I'm semi-retired, it's still a lot of planning and work to do. I put in probably 3 to 4 days total for each video. There's the time to research and write it. There's the whole day to shoot. And if I'm on location, it's usually 2 days. Then I spend at least a day and a half to edit. Okay. So, and we're talking full 8-hour days, sometimes more. So it's still a lot of work to produce that on a regular basis. But I try to produce my one video a week, and I was doing pretty good. I had a little lapse here in the months of March and May, or April and May, but I'm back. I've got videos coming out. I'm planning to do a video on scalloped potatoes, how to make scalloped potatoes. And I'm going to be doing some hiking videos. I'm trying to remember, see if I can, I'm looking for my paperwork.
Oh, you write it all down, yes. Mm.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have a list of potential videos, and then it takes time to either get permission to shoot where I want to go, if I'm going to go on location, or test out the recipes, because sometimes
Yeah, got to make sure.
yeah, I don't want someone to cook something and I walk around.
Yeah, bad for the channel. Yeah.
So, painting with Bob. Oh, Alice.
There you go.
Alas. It's past 5 o'clock, so time for alcohol. Well, yes, it's past 5 o'clock somewhere for alcohol. It's past 5 a.m. here.
Yeah.
But gosh, I'm sorry. I should have all this at the top of my head.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. Well, it's been a really good live stream, I think, and we've managed to cover everything that we set out to.
I hope so. I mean,
and we should do it again at some point.
Simon, I would really like to do it. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you and your viewers.
Mm.
It's funny. Now, you and I have known each other
about a week.
Tangentially, only in Japan. And the comments, we've only met in the last week or so.
Yeah.
But when we first had our conversation, it was like we've been buddies for years. So I definitely would enjoy just sitting down and having a chat with you again in the future.
Cool. Yeah, if you do a live stream and you're in need of a guest, just give me a shout. There we go. At a reasonable time.
Well, you know what? Again, I don't mind being up in the middle of the night, so we can get more of your regular viewership. Make it convenient for them, and if we can set. We'd have to test it, but if we can get it where I can use my my mobile phone for the live stream connection, then I'll take you around and do a little tour of inside the house or on location.
Oh yeah. Oh, cool.
Notice it's not just a talking head here. I don't know. Does anybody remember Max Headroom?
Oh yes, Max Headroom.
Yes. If you don't remember him, I'm sure if you saw Back to the Future, you would have seen the Max Headroom and the futuristic version of Hill Valley.
Yeah.
They had the Ayatollah and Reagan, doing that strange little bit of business. So.
Well, you got a question there from Speaking. What does your pack weight when you go hiking? Because he likes to hike.
Okay. I try to keep it about 25 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilos. I could take a second here, and I'll tell you if you don't mind waiting. Just see, 25 pounds equals kilo.
Mindy's mom. Yes, you're a bit late. We're just rounding up. Sorry.
11.3 kilos.
That's not so bad. That's quite light. Yeah.
The man that I go hiking with his name is Hiking Jim. Oh, hang on, I've lost the feed here. I gotta see where you're at. There you go, Steve. There you go. Okay. Hiking Jim is I want to call him a professional hiker. He doesn't do it for a living, but he's been hiking since he was a child with his father. He hikes, like 10, 13 miles at a time in the mountains, in the snow. He just did that a week or two ago in the Sierras. He is the one that's been training me. And so I'm learning. And my brother and his wife were avid hikers. They did the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail. And again, you can go on the channel and you can look up Aliens on the PCT and you'll see me, you'll see your brother. And I turned everything into
the UFO Bob. Yes. This has been the UFO Bob show.
Yes. now,
and I am in fact an alien. Don't worry.
but the point is that it's important that to keep your pack weight low, especially if you're carrying camera gear, and that's the tough part because you got to have at least one camera, at least 2 lenses if you're shooting edited content. Now, if I'm only doing live streaming like I did on the last hike, I just took the gimbal and the iPhone. Well, that's not too bad. But still, I look at these guys who go out to, these amazing places in the middle of nowhere, and I'm telling you, they're hiking with probably 32 to 35 pounds on their back. So that's their food, their tent, their sleeping bag, and their camera gear.
Oh, Mindy's mom is here. She says it's so nice to see to put a face to a name. There we go. So,
hey, Mindy's mom. Mindy's mom. I know you by name from John's show, but I don't know if I know what you look like. So please forgive me. If we should meet in person, I wouldn't recognize you, but someday we may.
Oh, I can arrange that, perhaps. I can. You contact me on She's on my server on Discord, so you can maybe sort of
next on Silent Dating Service. I'm just kidding, Mindy. Go down that road.
Well, I'm afraid the time has come.
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, a very great pleasure, and we could probably go on for hours, and we probably will do at another point. Okay. But I'd like to thank Bob for his time and for regaling us with such amazing stories. And I'd like to thank the audience for being here and joining in.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll come again next week. Next week, as I always say, I do know what's happening next week on Simon NoChaNoMa. We have Nosh Abroad again. Nosh Abroad will be here in virtual reality. In full 360 degrees of virtual reality, and it's all going to be very special. So join us. I'm not quite sure what the time's going to be because he's in San Francisco, so it could be one of these times again. But please do come along and watch the futuristic world of Simon NoChaNoMa next week. So,
Simon, if I may, I want to say thank you for inviting me on. I really enjoyed the time, and also I want to apologize to those viewers whose comments I didn't read or I missed. I wish I could have read and responded to every one of them because I'm glance over and go, wow, that's interesting. I want to talk about that. Maybe next time.
Okay.
So,
well, thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Bob. And see you all again next week. And I'll maybe see you later, Bob, at some point.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.